Willie D. Live.
The National Minister of Politics for the new Black Panther Nation, Dr. Candice Matthews.
Hey, my brother.
Salute.
How you doing, my brother?
Well, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Now, listen, you spent a lot of time on the front lines for civil and human rights. What I want to know is, what drives you? Because you spend, when I say a lot of time, you spend a lot of time. I'm talking about, like, if you ain't sleeping, you fighting for people's rights. Right.
You know what? It's because I'm a very empathetic person, and it's to the fact where, I had to sit back and think, like, what does it feel like to not to be able to walk in certain doors that people wouldn't really give a damn about you? So my thing is, I want to be that voice for the voiceless. And so if I have to utilize my time to be able to do it, then that's what I'm going to do. Because that's actually how I feel like I'm paying my tithes to helping people in the community. Because you got a lot of people that's doing this type of work and their intentions is not pure. And then you wonder why you can't get 2 steps forward and have to take 5 steps back. This stuff is serious work because we have people who really are out here who really need the help, who really don't have the voice. They can't go in the mayor's office and be like, hey, my apartment is flooded. Can you come and do this? Man, I don't want to hear that. But if I go in there, he gonna want to hear it. Mm-hmm. So I feel that I've always been that type of individual, even when I was in school. When people who were voiceless getting bullied, I would be the one and be like, all right, well, then bully me then. You know what I mean? So I still have that same mentality of how I feel about, people who are being disenfranchised, people who are, being mistreated. They need someone to help them. But you have to be careful when you're doing this too, because you have some of these people that'll try to weaponize you, and they know they dead wrong with all the stuff that they do. Even like what I did with the apartment complexes. The main thing that I ask with that is, 1, are you updated with your rent? 2, I need proof to verify that you've been updated with your rent for the last 3 months, right? Then the next thing is that I need to see the actual direct evidence, because we got people out here that'll turn around, they'll get mad at the landlord. All right, then I'm gonna call Dr. Matthews in. No, that's not how they work. So if I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna help you genuinely, and I'm gonna make sure that work is gonna be done and it's gonna get done. But if you over here trying to weaponize because of the influence that I have, or that I can pretty much make people shake, then that's not how that's gonna work.
Right, because your credibility is on the line.
Absolutely.
And you got people out there that just can't wait to say, she don't know what she's talking about. Look at this. Try to basically, discredit you. Right.
Yeah. And I even mentored some activists in other states. And, they'll call me and they'll ask me on certain, issues. And like I tell them, if you do not have direct proof, then you can't get in front of it. So what you would need to do, you would need to bring them to a civil rights attorney or an attorney that actually deal in that specific arena, because an attorney can do more than what we can do. And I let them know as well, we cannot give legal advice. You know what I mean? We cannot.
But even an attorney has to have a certain amount of evidence, I guess discovery evidence.
But see, that's what discovery
to take
of
a case in the first place, because again, somebody just reach out to a Ben Crump or whatever, and they don't really have any evidence of wrongdoing. You basically expecting him to go use all his resources to go investigate a case for you
but see,
that
this is a key.
may not exist.
But see, this is a key. The key to it, like I let them all know, straight up, that motion of discovery will separate the sheep from the lambs. Okay? And they have to understand as well, not all of these cases that we refer to attorneys are on consignment. You may have a possibility where you have to pay a consultant fee. And it may be a possibility that you will have to pay a retainer fee. Now, in order for us to get involved, if you don't have direct evidence, you don't have video, you don't have documents, you don't have recordings, then that's what I'm going to refer you to, because attorneys can get certain things through motion of discovery. But you have to understand that it may not be on consignment.
Well, some people got the mentality that if you're working for the people, it's just supposed to be free. Like you supposed to come out your pocket, or you don't have children to feed, you don't have gas to put in a car note or a house note. You can just spend all your time working for everybody else, and you're not going to be compensated for your time. This is what you do. It's not a part-time thing. This is like what you do, right?
Yeah, but see, like I told you earlier, it's like, for me, is that I have a business. So my business takes care of me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I don't have to be out here charging $3,500 or $1,500 and things like that. I'm doing this because guess what? I'm not going to miss my blessing.
Well, you're doing it strictly because of your passion, and you got the heart, like you say, compassion. But there are activists out there who that's all they do, and they deserve to be compensated.
Absolutely.
They got to be compensated. Hell, if they're out here fighting for you and they're using up all their resources, who the hell is going to fight for them? You're going to turn them into the beggar. Now, they got to go out there and get somebody to fight for them and help them out.
And that's why
so they got to be compensated.
But see, that's why with any activist, like I tell, activists that, hey, if you want this to be your only line of work, then push it to the limit. If not, you need to have another set of income so you can move the way you want to. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to take every case, because that's how a lot of activists get in trouble. You'll turn around and take a case, you take these people money, and then you turn around and you can't follow through with what they ask, or either you'll turn around and not going to lie in certain situations, then they'll turn around and try to say, oh, he took my money. Oh, she took my money. She didn't do this, she didn't do that. So that's why you have to move strategically when you dealing in this type of line of work. You have to be able to have the freedom, the financial freedom as well, to move the way that you want to move. However, but if you want to try to do like a foundation or try to do something that's on a larger scale, then of course it's going to take donors to do that. But you have to be that type of organization. I'm not taking donors for people who disenfranchise folks that look like us, because you're not going to control my mouth. You're not going to control, if you doing something you don't supposed to be doing, that I'm not going to come for you. You're not going to control that. And so that's why I move freely the way that I do.
Well, what about taking all of their money and still using it against, and still doing the right thing? In other words, they take all of our money and they don't give a damn either way. Like, for example, you got McDonald's, all these fast food restaurants that are located in the hood. They don't do anything in the hood. They don't give back anything, but they continue to take our money. So why can't we do the same? Why can't we take their money and not do anything for them?
Because you know what they do. When they give us their money. I know when they give you money, but I'm saying, like, if you set your foundation up strong enough, if you stand on something strong enough to where they ain't got no choice. For example, boy, that's not a good example. I was about to say Black Lives Matter, but shade, honey.
But for example, let's say a shape center or something like that that stands on something. I forgot Detroit. The guys in Detroit, man, y'all charge it to my brain, not my heart. These guys out here are doing some good work in Detroit, right? Mm-hmm. They stand on something, and they don't care, like, who you are. They'll come get you. Like, I'm saying, like, you stand on. Here's a good example: the ADL. Mm-hmm. The ADL will take donations from anybody, but they stand on something. When they say this is what it is, and they don't care. At that point, your money ain't no good. Exhibit A, Kanye West. At this point, your money ain't no good. All of those brands that was endorsing Kanye, who gave money to the ADL, all of them contribute money to the ADL, right? ADL said, this is what it is. Y'all need to disassociate yourself with him. And we ain't worried about, I don't care how many millions y'all give us. we standing on this, and y'all either with us or you against us. And they decided, you know what, we better be with the ADL because they're so powerful. I'm saying,
But see, that's the key word.
you get that power and you stand on it, but you get the power by standing on something in the first place. You'll never get no real power by, being a sucker,
No, you don't. You don't. And see, and the key word that you said in that whole scenario, again, is power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have already set that foundation and you have a powerhouse backing you with that foundation, you can move any way you want to. You can move just like on a chessboard. You can move any way you want to, as long as you protect the queen. That's it. But see, with a lot of us black people, we really don't have that. But that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. Because guess what? I guarantee we have that, we wouldn't really have a lot of the foolishness that's happening right now that's disenfranchising us. And we need people who are not boot-licking Negroes, too. Because you have a lot of them that are agents of white supremacy. That's right in the camp with us. That's walking down, protesting, doing all this stuff, and reporting back to master. What we gonna do about that? You understand what I'm saying? So it's like it's
off with their heads.
Okay, treasonous.
Yeah.
Off with your head.
Off with their head. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that we should get used to that idea. Like get used to the concept of like cutting them out, eviscerating them. When we find out, you're an agent, okay, you got to go. But it's too many of us who get caught up in the optics of a black person being in a high position. Mm-hmm. And we just think like, oh, he's in a high position, you got to protect him at all costs. And I say, no way. Like, you're either with us or you're against us.
They have to show themselves approved, period.
Yeah.
You have to show yourself, because I wouldn't give a damn what position you in. But if you're not doing something that is for the best interest of people of color, I'm going to chop your ass down like an AK-47.
Okay.
And that's how, and I stand on that.
Sounds brutal.
And it will be brutal because I'm going to tell you now, because at the end of the day, I am for people of color. That's what I'm about, And if you doing something and you are in a position where you can make transformational change and you refuse to do it, I'm going to chop you down.
Let's talk about how you get down for foster care children.
Well, I was just chopping them down last week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now bring me up to speed.
Okay, so I sit on the Texas Department of Family Protective Services State Office CARP committee that deals with providers, that deals in the, what they call it, residential child care, like your child placement agencies. That's like, foster adoption agencies. Mm-hmm. You have your residential treatment centers. These are children who they need a little bit more extra support because of behavioral, or it can be different from that. And then also you have your shelters. And then also you have your treatment foster care homes. And so with treatment foster care homes, these are children who really supposed to be in residential treatment facilities, but they want to put them in an actual home where it can only be just them with an actual parent. And they pay a certain amount of dollars that's largely versus what they would pay in a foster adoption agency, right? So, okay, so we meet once every 3 months is what we do. And, me, I come in there with all the tough questions because, see, I'm not coming there for a dog and pony show. You know what I mean? Because you got to keep in mind, I used to be a foster parent. So that's the up that I have on everybody that's on that committee. Because how can you make decisions on children when you ain't never had them in your eyes? That's one. The second up that I have is that the majority of children in foster care look like us. So how can you make decisions on our children? See, I let them know these are our kids. And this committee needs to mirror what our children look like. So I get down there this time. I didn't get a chance to go in January because I was in Lubbock slamming down some racist stuff down there, at the little school in Lubbock and Slayton, Texas. In fact, the young lady that tried to kill herself because they was calling her a nigger and they was calling her a porch monkey. Well, the young lady ended up graduating. So she got through that process. We helped the family and stuff, so she's doing good. Okay, so moving forward. Court meeting last week. So we were in the meeting, and all of a sudden, I used to be the only African-American on that committee. I was able to get probably about maybe 4 or 5 on the committee now. Now, all of a sudden, they try to come up with a notion as to, we have these PPP meetings and we have these CART meetings. Why don't we just do away with both of them and we just have one meeting, one committee where it's only 24 people.
They're trying to get the power back.
Yeah, see what they're trying to do? Yeah. They're trying to get rid of people that just got on this committee, which is a 2-year term. And so I'm listening while I'm in the meeting. And then I turn around and say, wait. I say, excuse me. First of all, what would be the ethnic makeup of this committee? Because last I checked, these are kids. These are black and brown kids that look like us. So how can you make decisions on our kids? Then they was like, well, we instead of us having 2 meetings, we just need to be able to put it together. I said, okay, so then I'm going to be empathetic real quick. I remember 6 years ago when I first got on this committee by the former commissioner that put me on here to shake it up, right? And you want to take away that opportunity from these new people that just got on this committee who wants to work for the best interests of kids because they in the trenches and they look like me. Oh, everybody got quiet. So then I turned around and said, because look, let me make sure y'all understand something. When you do not have the people that look like us on this committee, when you do not have a seat at the table, you on the menu. So one of the white judges that was on the PPP committee, he was like, I've never heard that. He pretty much responded to what I said, and he felt that we should keep it the way it is, and they wasn't ready for that. And so when he made the statement saying that, well, I'm after you, I've never heard of it. I say you would not have heard of it because you know why? You privileged. So that's probably why you haven't heard that saying, right? So then we jump from that. We jump from another issue that I found that they're doing to try to put minority providers like myself out of business. They're doing some real egregious activities when it comes to dealing with kinship. And so kinship is more or less children that CPS then placed in a home that's either a relative or they have some type of relationship with their kid because they feel, which I believe, that kids thrive better when they're with family members or with someone that they're familiar with, right? Don't have an issue with that. But my issue was that I found out was that I got with a kinship family and black lady. Majority of them are black Hispanic anyway. So she started running everything to me. So she told me, she said, when she went to the CPS office and they give them a list of all the providers, like myself, that deals with kinship, what they don't supposed to do is tell them what agency to go to. They told her what agency to go to.
And let me take a wild guess. A non-black agency.
Or a bootlicking one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, because you got them.
That do what they say do.
Yeah. And so, now keep in mind, I'm on that list. Okay? And so, when I end up meeting this young lady, she was actually a fan of mine with seeing me with the cowboy hat talking trash on TV. And she felt that I need to be at an agency where they're going to protect me so I can go through this process, right? So when she let me see that list, she showed me the list where they put the markings of what agency to go to. Then I turn around, you know how I am, Willie. I'm the kind of person, I deal with straight facts and I deal with evidence. So I said, do you mind if I record you? Because I'm going to use this. She said, sure. video recorded her. So at the CART meeting, I played it. I played the recording at the CART meeting like I did at HCC. So she gave out a name of an agency, which is a bootlicking one. She gave one name, but I also had the actual list to show who they were picking. So the new commissioner was sitting right next to me in that meeting. And I played the recording. And when she started running it, and I said, now look here. I said, what we not gonna do is not have a level playing field here. I said, because I am known on a daily basis to sniff out corruption and expose it. That's what I do. That's my daily job, pretty much. So it appears to me we have some providers that is participating in some egregious corruption. And I told them in that meeting, if I find out that you are engaging or perpetuating this type of egregious corruption, I'm a flush you out. Everybody looking like, and one of the bigger agencies that was sitting next to me, she was feeling very uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm talking about all y'all big agencies that's trying to put black agencies out of business, because that's why I'm making my business every month. I go on 102, 97.9, and 92.1 to let our people know that there are black agencies that you can go to. We got to protect our own, because you think it's better going over here to Becky and Ken agency? You think the water's colder over there? No, because they just had a white agency that just got closed down because, one, they weren't paying their foster parents on time. But see, that's the slave mentality that our people still have to this day. You feel that it's better to be over here with Becky and Ken instead of coming over here with your own damn people who can protect you, who can identify with you, who can help you. But then you want to go to the bootlicking ones, because guess what? When you come under investigation, let me tell you the game plan, because them snitches told me in CPS. And that's why I did further research and investigation and found out that this is happening across the state. What they do, they're going to get your license, and then they'll turn around and be like, we don't feel that Jamal is a best fit for this home. And then they'll turn around and take the license of that black or Hispanic kinship family. And then they'll turn around and put that kid in regular foster care where they could make continuous money instead of the overall goal, which is reunification or adoption.
That's cold-blooded.
Or conservatorship. See, I didn't found the tea. I'm telling you, they told me. So when me and Brother Cornell had a conversation about it, he said, Dr. Matthews, you got agency, right? You need to get in front of this. And you need to get as many black and brown families in your agency so you can protect them.
Isn't reunification the primary goal for the foster care system?
That's the primary goal, but it doesn't happen that way because we have so many of our people are far gone, bro. They are. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of them are far gone and don't even finish the classes. And then if they do have the ones that finish the classes, they don't have the funds to hire legal counsel to help them through that process. So it's kind of like, well, shoot, we can do them any way we want. Any which way but Sunday. And it's nothing more but like a slave system, bro. That's what it is. They're using our children as a slave system. That's why we need more black providers to advocate, to stand in the gap and be like, nah, this is what you not about to do. Because I'm going to give you a prime example. I had a situation with a foster grandmother, right? Now, they retaliated against her because she went to the news because CPS didn't do their job as far as in the investigation piece, and her granddaughter ended up dying in the process. But she had the siblings. Right? CPS was trying to do everything under the sun to try to remove her own grandkids from her.
And why?
Yeah, they was just messing with the lady because as a form of retaliation. So the kid's attorney reached out to me. They was like, Dr. Matthews, we need you to help this family because we see it's some funny business that's going on and yada, yada, yada. We need to get her license so the judge can see that, she's trying to get licensed so she can adopt her grandkids.
How did the kid die?
Supposedly, the daughter and the daughter's boyfriend beat the child to death. And they were African-American. So when she was calling CPS trying to tell them, I even had this parent, I brought this grandmother to the state capitol, and we had a press conference in the speaker's room. So by me being the vice chair of the Black Caucus, I got that privilege. They got to open it up for me. So we had a big old press conference about it, and I even had former foster youth and everything that was there. They gave this lady holy hell. Until they even tried to lie to me, bro. They lied to me and said that the grandmother and her husband was under criminal investigation from HPD. They didn't know I knew Troy Finner, huh? So, I can call Troy and find that out. Found out it was a whole lie. A whole damn lie. And when I say I brought legislators and everything to jump in front of this, so the end result was that the adoption was done last month.
Oh, beautiful.
It was done.
Beautiful.
But I was not playing because I was fighting against the machine.
Yeah, they
tried to retaliate against me, bro.
Yeah, but when they saw it was real, they said, you know what? We get enough of them to go our way. Let's just leave this one right here alone because they over here fighting too hard. Classic bully. Bullies do not like to be bullied. If you want to stop a bully, just bully him.
Well, I'm going to give you a prime example. Even at that meeting, at the CART meeting, Texas Department of Human Health Services, they are mortified of me because them jokers know they went in and forged my compliance history to try to put my agency on probation as a form of retaliation because I was pushing back. They didn't even know that I had my compliance history from the time I started. So when I turn around and ask them, hey, let me go on and send me that compliance history. Let me take a look at it. Not knowing that I had mine. And I was able to decipher and caught they tails. Then added citations that was not even supposed to be there. And if you go and look on YouTube or any social media platform, you'll see me calling them out and slamming a whole Thor hammer in the meeting. Then what ended up happening, every year, because I hold a LCPAA administrator license, which is a licensed child care administrator license. You have to have that license in order to operate. That license hold your license to your business. And that was why I got my license, because I didn't want to have my business in the hands of somebody else. So if you decide you get mad and want to walk off, I'm stuck out. Now, I'm going to have my license too. So you don't do what you need to do, then you can kick rocks because this business still finna go on. So every year we have to go and have with this administrative conference so we can get our hours, so we can renew our license every 2 years, right? So I'm at the meeting last year in November, and I'm already on Human Health Services behind because I done caught you forging falsification of documentation. I done caught you. So we all in the little meeting together, everybody sitting at the tables and stuff like that. So one of my snitches from CPS told me, Dr. Matthews, there they go over there. Oh, they over there? Oh, okay then. All right, bet. So I go walk over there. I'm already intimidating. I come there with a cowboy hat on, probably got a blazer, looking where that this one don't play. So I walk over there to the table because they've already saw the press release I put out. And I had other civil rights organizations then join with me that we were going to do a press conference in front of their office. So I'm the kind of person, I'm not going to talk behind your back. I'm going to put you on notice. So I go over there to that table. I say, and good afternoon, how y'all doing? Oh, we're fine. I say, you better be ready for tomorrow. And walked off. So they went and told the head person of the conference. And so the head person came to me, was like, Dr. Matthews, can we have a conversation? Sure. So I go over there, and she was like, well, we really don't want Human Health Services to leave, and they felt threatened. I said, it wasn't a threat. That was a put on notice. I'm sure you seen this press release, and I'm sure you know that I'm about to go public on them tomorrow. And she's like, well, I just don't want them to leave. I say, I don't give a damn if they leave at this point, because I done caught you. I done caught you doing some corruption. And this is the stuff that they supposed to make sure that other providers are not doing. But you doing it, right?
Did anybody go to jail?
Not yet, because I'm still working.
Okay.
But it gets better. So then at the CARP meeting, I don't know if you remember this, they had this human trafficking facility by the name of the Refuge that was out of Bastrop. And it made a big national news type deal because supposedly, allegedly, that children were being exploited, taking pictures of them, selling the pictures and all this here type of stuff. And this was supposed to be a provider that Governor Abbott was backing. Okay? So when I got a woof of it, and then that's when I was on, if you go on social media, you'll see me on the Senate floor going off on people. You'll see me exposing everybody. So then we get to the CARP meeting yesterday. Well, before then, I did a press conference in March because it was brought to my attention that Human Health Services gave them a license after their license was taken from them during this investigation process. Now, if that would have been somebody that looked like me or Hispanic, we would not have had the opportunity to get our license back. They'll take it and that's it. So me, with my messy tail, I went right on over there in Bastrop and had other Democratic officials with me, and we were denouncing this facility because something happened now. I don't give a damn what you say. Something happened now with them damn children. Because just like how I like your word that you always say, the Klan jury. Yeah, they had a Klan jury that said nothing happened. How convenient. Something happened now. So at the end of the day, you didn't close black providers and brown providers over something minute, like a not having signatures or, a couple deficiencies that they have.
The exit light out.
Yes, but then you turn around and you give these sapsuckers another chance to get a license. So if you're going to do that for them, you need to do it for everybody else. So when I asked that question at the meeting, Licensing Human Health Services, pew, they got on up out of there. I ain't know where they went because I got some legitimate questions. And if you're not going to answer it, then I'm going to put you on blast again. Because at the end of the day, you're giving a license to a facility where something happened. And that is not protecting kids. And then I wanted to make sure, CPS, you gave them a contract? Because I'm going to come for you too. Because it's our job to protect the unprotected.
Now, who has the most power, CPS or Human Resources?
Human Health Services.
Health Services.
Okay, so it used to be that CPS and Human Health Services was one entity. And then back in 2015, during that legislative session, CPS became a standalone agency.
Yeah.
And HHSC only dealt with the regulatory piece, and CPS deals with the contractual piece. Okay? Now they're in a federal lawsuit with Judge Janice Jack, and she don't hold no punches with them because she asks the same questions I ask. Who gave this provider a license? Everybody over here looking like you had an egg drop on your face. Because at the end of the day, our job is to protect kids. This is not politics. We're supposed to protect kids. And if you run around here not leveling the playing field, see, that's what they don't like about me. I'm going to make sure you're going to level that playing field because if you don't, I'm expose you. I'm going to go public on you. And I went public on CPS for about 6 months straight. And what ended up happening, CPS was like, hey, Dr. Matthews, we're going to work with you. You know, we let us know anything that you get so we can get in front of it. We're going to work with you because I exposed a CPS supervisor in Tyler, Texas. This joker had his CPS badge on and got caught in a prostitution sting by the feds. And they were going to try to sweep it under the rug. No, the hell you're not. I'm going to put this right on out here. This is the same joker that's removing kids and making decisions on kids, and you over here in a prostitution sting, and then you got a wife and kids. Where they do that at? So, I mean, in this line of work, you have to be steadfast, you have to be no nonsense, and you have to keep the children in mind first. Because if you don't, then you going to be a boot-licking joker who going to sit up here and let them handle you any which way but Sunday.
Well, some of them keep the kids in mind, the children in mind first for special reasons. You know, they want to play with the kids. You know, they want to touch on them and stuff like that. How big of an issue is sexual assault and abuse in the foster care system?
It's a huge factor because you know why? It's a huge factor to the fact where when these children become adults, it affects them in their adult life. This is a certain type of trauma that has to be worked throughout your adult life. A lot of this stuff explains a lot of decision-making that former foster youth makes. It explains why some of them go into homosexuality, some of them, you know. It explains how they leave in one system, going to the prison system. This stuff is like real deal, serious business. And it happens.
And I would assume it has a lot of alcohol and drug.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then let's just be clear. They even try to over-medicate our kids, bro. They try to over-medicate them. You know what I mean? You may have a kid that's probably ADHD, right? Okay, let his ass go run down the street or something. Put him in activity or something like that. Let him burn the energy off. But then you want to put him on ADHD medicine. You want to put him on depression medicine. You want to put him on mood disorder medicine. Like, come on, man. Like, what you doing? Why you want to over-medicate our kids? Because you got to keep in mind, like I told them.
Control them.
Like I told them in that meeting. These are our kids. These kids look like us. So how can Becky and Ken make decisions on our children when you can't even empathize with us? You don't know what it's like to have the police to come in your house and remove you from your family. You don't know what it's like to have actual children sleeping on a mattress with bed bugs and feces because your mom and your dad is strung out on crack. You know what I mean? You don't know what it's like to come from the hood staying in the projects. You don't know nothing about that. So how can you make decisions on our kids? That's why that ethnic makeup of that committee has to have people that look like our kids. Because if not, then it's designed for them to leave the foster care system to the prison system. Yeah, did you know Texas, not to cut you off, did you know Texas has a contract with private prisons?
Yeah.
Right?
Spoke on that way back in the early 90s.
Okay, so you already know the game ain't changed. Yeah. So if Texas does not fill those beds, then Texas owes the private prisons money. So what system feeds the prison system? Foster care.
Yeah. Is foster care more designed to accommodate younger kids or older kids?
Both. But see, what's happening at this point right now is that they have this deal that's called CWOP, which is called Child Without Placement, because a lot of these teenagers, a lot of the foster parents can't really handle a lot of these teenagers. So then what happens, they stand in CPS offices with the caseworker, or they stand in CWOP, which could be a church, or it could be, some type of facility with the caseworkers where they have different shifts.
And then they age out and become homeless.
Yeah. And then now they do have a program that's called extended foster care, but if the behaviors is not on point, then they don't qualify. And now one thing I can say is when CPS children finish the PALS program, their college is paid for, as long as they're going to a public university or college until they're 65 years old. Paid for. 100%. When I was a foster parent, that's how come I had a lot of my kids graduate under me. Because of that. Yeah, you going to PALS. Yeah, what school we going to? Because we're not about to do this. And then that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I've actually had children in my home before I even had my own kids graduate under me, and I got them through. So that's why I'm such a fighter when it comes to this. And you can't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, because I'm letting you know now I'm going to expose you, and ain't no telling what's going to come out of my mouth, because I'm so passionate about it. You know, and it's like a lot of people, they really don't know how serious this stuff is. They really don't know. They don't.
What's the process for becoming a foster parent, and what's the difficulty?
The process, first of all, you got your application that you got to fill out. You got to do your background checks. You got to do 3 background checks. You got to have a DFPS, which is the abuse and neglect background. You got to have the statewide DPS background, and then FBI background check, right? So they can make sure you're not messing with kids, whatever state you come from or whatever. Then, of course, you have to have, your home has to pass the licensing inspection piece, because you have a lot of these homes that these kids have to have their own rooms. So you have to have your house to meet the expectations according to the minimum standards, which is the regulation under Human Health Services that we have to follow. Then, of course, foster parents have to make sure that they have to do the foster parent paperwork with taking notes. If they are on medication, they have to do medication logs. They have to do trainings yearly for that, because if they don't, then the provider will get cited, like me, will get cited as a deficiency. And so once they become licensed, you know, you got to go through a home study process. They're going to ask you all type of questions, going to try to get all in your business. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's what we want. Because we also look at your financial income. What is it that you're making? You know what I mean? Because you're not going to use this as a come up. That's what you're not about to do. You know, so it's different factors that we deal with becoming a foster parent. But once you become a foster parent, your house will be under scrutiny, because one of these kids, I'm being real with you, one of these kids can sit up here and lie on you because you didn't want to let them go somewhere. They're going investigation. And if you at a bootlicking agency, or if you at one of them white supremacist type agencies, they're going to throw you on the bus and take your license, and that kid going to go to a whole nother house. And you can't be and operate or nothing with kids. Especially, let's say, if you are a certified teacher or a counselor or anything that have a professional license that deal with kids. If you get under investigation and that investigation comes back as a reason to believe, or they feel that you've done something, that's like a felony in the child welfare world, which means you're going to lose your license. You're not going to be able to operate around children, period. That's why it is very vital that you are at an agency or with a provider who is going to fight for you. A provider who they scared of, one, and a provider who they respect, and then a provider who has not just activism influence, but political, when you have to let it out. But again, you have a lot of these foster parents want to go over there to Becky and Ken there and think everything going to be fine until you get in trouble. Don't call me when you get in trouble. I'm trying to save you now. Because, I mean, let's be real, these kids do lie too. They do. So, you know.
And I would assume that would be a risk that a foster parent would take. I mean, imagine being a foster parent and having to discipline your child, your foster child, you know, and that child knowing how the system works. A lot of these kids, they're a lot sharper than just the average kid.
Oh, they are.
You know, they could easily just call 911 and say, hey.
Oh, now they'll just go to the school.
You did this,
They can just go to the school. If they're
They
in
go to
school,
school, whatever.
they can go to the
Right.
school because everybody is considered a mandated reporter, including you.
Okay.
Okay? So if a kid comes to you and tell you that this foster parent is doing this to them or whatever, you better report it to the hotline, right? So in the case of how we handle a lot of these investigations and things of that such, because we know our kids, we know these parents, we have service plan meetings that's done depending on the level of care of the kid, which means their behavior. You know, so if they like a specialized kid, they have service plans once every month, right? If they are basic, it could be like once every 3 months. And if they're a moderate specialized kid, it could be probably once a year, once every 6 months. It all depends on their level. But it shows the behavior patterns. It shows this is what they do, this is what they don't do. You know, it shows with their foster parent notes, case management notes, everything. It's about documentation, because if you don't document, it didn't happen. And so when I was a foster parent, I'm going to tell you how I was on game with that portion. Because we had kids that a lot say, she ain't feed us. You know, she ain't taking us nowhere. I had them cheering in Papados. I had these kids at Olive Garden. I had these kids, Kim Song. I had them at Steak 48. I had them at...
Yeah, whatever you like.
Yeah, you gonna eat what I eat.
Right.
And then when I make groceries, I'm gonna make groceries. I'm not going to the food bank. I don't eat at the food bank. I eat at H-E-B. So I would keep receipts of everything. And every last one of them kids gonna sign the back of that receipt. And I would take random pictures here and there. So if you turn around and lie and say, I don't feed you, or if you turn around and lie and say about anything, it's gonna discount it right then and there. Because here's the proof. You can't say that I put my hand on you, because guess what? I had cameras in the house. Okay, in open areas. Then I even had sensors that's like at your staircase, even by your room or anywhere, so I can hear where everybody is in that house. And then I even had intercoms in each and every last one of their rooms. So I don't got to be yelling all across the house. I'm gonna hit the intercom. Hey, come on down here. Let's, woo, woo, woo. You know, and then I also made sure that we had fresh fruit on the counter. You know what I mean? Because see, when a licensing rep come in your house, that's the first thing they're gonna look for. You don't have fresh fruit, they're gonna cite you. That's why I had the list.
You have to have fresh fruit?
Yes.
Why?
Because if a kid gets hungry and the kitchen is closed, they need to be able to have some accessibility to something to eat.
You have to have fresh fruit?
Absolutely. Because you have to be able to have some form of food that is out and available for the child, just in case if they get hungry, if the kitchen is closed.
Why can't you have some kind of, Little Debbie's or something?
No, you can have that too,
Okay.
but they really prefer,
something healthy.
Something that's healthy,
Okay.
And so even like, when licensing and all them coming to your home, see, my foster parents have the actual list that they use. So when they're coming into your house to do inspections and stuff like that, the foster parents have the same exact list. So they can dispute anything that they do, and that's how I can come in and attack them.
Do they randomly show up?
Yeah, they can. They can randomly show up. They can do mock inspections, and that's a mock inspection is that they'll probably have like a little random list, and one of your homes may pop up, and then they'll let you know, hey, we need their home study, we need a portion of their files, because we're going to be going out to the home to do a mock inspection, and then they want to just go in to see if they following the minimum standards when they go out to the home. But see, if you keep your people equipped so they know what they're looking for, then you really don't have nothing to worry about.
And this sounds like a lot, but it should be a lot when you're raising human beings.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Especially kids who have been involved in traumatic experiences.
Oh, yes.
This is not really asking too much if you really think about it.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not in my opinion. It's not, because you can't be too careful, and like my deal is this has always been my philosophy. Stay ready to keep from getting ready.
Yeah.
When you do that, you're not going to have no problems. And like I tell my foster parents, any issues that you have, you call me immediately. because 9 times out of 10, I smell some corruption going on. And I'm telling you, I'm going to sniff it out and I'm going to expose it.
See, if I was pursuing foster parentship, I'm looking for your agency. I want that protection. I want that strength. I like that muscle, man. I ain't trying to be around those suckers, you know. I'm like somebody that's scared. Ooh, I'm scared I'm gonna lose my license and let me fall through the cracks or throw me under the bus.
CPS coming. Ooh, license coming. Now, you need a muscle.
Yeah.
You need a whole hammer out here, which I am the hammer of accountability. That's my name.
What's the name of your agency?
Children of Diversity.
Children of Diversity.
Yes.
Nice. Now, how often do they try to come get you? Like, I'm sure they try to, like, send you a little paperwork every now and then and say, hey.
Oh, now, honey.
They stopped doing it. Did they try to?
They'll come in your office.
They came to your office?
They come in my office. But see, let me go ahead and y'all gonna trip out when I tell you this. Because, you know, I'm a private investigator, honey. And I believe, like I said, staying ready to keep from getting ready. Like how we got this table right here, I have a conference room. So when they come in to look at any files, I got cameras with mics in the file rooms. I have 2 cameras on top of the table, 1 camera that's in that corner, and I got microphones where I can hear everything. So if I'm not there, all I got to do is go to my phone, and I'm finna look and see who file that you done pulled because, see, they did some dirty tricks before. I done had licensing come in my office and take stuff out of a file, and they're going to try to lie and say it ain't there. Now, let me tell you how I fixed that problem. I have a compliance officer that used to work for both agencies.
That works for you now.
That worked for me. And I'm going to tell you, this how I get her to do it. She goes in and reviews everybody's files weekly. And she has a compliance binder, right? Whatever file she's reviewing, she make copies of sections that she done reviewed and put it in that binder. You know them jokers tried to do that to me probably about 2 years ago? They went in my personnel file and tried to say that I didn't have a training. And my compliance officer just went through my file maybe a day ago. So let me go to these cameras. You took it out, didn't you? No, yes you did. And I'm coming for your job and everybody else's job. And then, why you want to do this after I done already told you? Who is this in this flower dress? Hey, girl. You don't see the cameras here? Nah, and this was during the time during legislative session. Are you serious? I'm down here in Austin. I will fire all y'all up.
But that comes from so many years of being able to be corrupt and go unchecked.
Yes!
That's that arrogance. That's all it is. She ain't gonna do nothing. We got the power. This is what we do. We go unchecked. Can't nobody do anything about it. What you gonna do about it? We don't go to jail. We get to do what we want to do.
Willie, let me tell you something.
We violate and discriminate whenever we feel like it.
Willie, let me tell you what went down. So I go through the whole process when they were in my office. I'm watching the whole video. Now, keep in mind, I'm in legislative session. I'm sitting in the Texas Grill where they normally go and eat their food. I got me a little cone in the back. You know, everybody, they know you want to say, hey, okay, yeah, move around. I'm doing something. So I'm going through the whole thing. And I look through here. You jokers then took a 3-hour lunch break. From this time to this time. That's one thing. You went in and you took this out of my record. One thing. You on social media while you on the state's time. Another thing. You making personal phone calls because I can hear what you're doing. Another thing. So, here you girl. The muscle. I go to the headquarters of Human Health Services and speak to, I don't think they no longer work there, but when they were there. And I had one of the Democratic officials with me. See, it's a certain pin that we wear. I just had her sit right there. And I turned around and showed them the video. So, I'm going to tell you what you about to do. you're going to fire all of them. Because if you don't, I'm going to bring this right on back over here to this Capitol so Senator Miles and everybody else take a look at this. So how you want to do it? And then I'm going to turn around and do a press conference and I'm going to blast you out. So how you want to do this? When they come in my office, they walk on eggshells. And I make it on purpose because if you go in my office and they come in my conference room, they see me on pictures with powerful people all around that office. I call it the wall of intimidation.
Now, somebody's watching this, right, or listening to this, and they're saying to themselves, oh, man, don't tell them what you're doing. Don't tell them everything. Don't tell them what's going on.
They already know. That's why they're coming out on eggshells. That's why if you are a current foster parent in the Houston area or kinship or want to adopt, you want to be with the muscle.
You know, it's kind of like, speaking on this the way you're speaking on it right now, being as candid and transparent as you are, it's kind of like somebody who would have cameras outside of their house. The cameras are there to intimidate, to distract, they're to what's the word I'm looking for? It's detract. You know what I'm saying? You don't want the person to actually come into your house, but if somebody see the camera,
they know Big Brother watching.
They know somebody watching, so it deters. What the word I'm looking for it's there to serve as a deterrent. So, somebody see the camera. You know what? I ain't gonna go into that one because they got the cameras up.
Well, his cameras everywhere.
But it don't mean that somebody won't be bold enough to try it anyway.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. And that's what happened, bro. Right. And then even like, I really don't have a high turnover rate with employees either. Like, I've had people that's been with me since I opened.
And how long has that been?
Since 2010.
Okay.
And I'm the type of boss, I got your back. You got mine, I got yours. You come in my office with that mess, I'm going to handle you. So, you're not going to get upset if you have to be disciplined because you dropped the ball on something. So, you're not going to go in one of them files and take something out of it and then call the CPS hotline and say, oh, they don't have this in their files. And then when they come in, the investigators come in, they can go right to that file, and you done got probably about 50 deficiencies.
What does somebody have to do if they wanted to start their own adoption agency? Not adoption, but foster care agency?
Well, actually, they would need to go to they have meetings with Texas Department of Human Health Services, where they kind of let you know about, what they expect, dealing with your policies and your procedures, your documents, your forms, and then they talk about the next process is obtaining a contract. They have, trainings that's mandatory that you have to go to because that certificate has to be a year old before you can even apply for the license.
What kind of financial investment does it take?
It all depends. I've seen some people start an agency with $100,000. I've seen some that started with maybe $75,000. I've seen some that started with $350,000. So it all depends on your workload and your capacity.
$350,000?
Yeah, because check this: if they want to start a large one, you know what I mean. And so what happens is that you have to be able to operate and function for 3 months without state funding. That's how they wing us out. Okay? And that's even with the residential treatment facilities because you have to already have everything ready to take kids. Already. Like those residential treatment facilities, they have to have like those sprinkler systems. Those sprinkler systems by themselves is about $20,000 by itself. So you have to have some form of revenue. Like you can't just open up just a agency or RTC in a rent house or around the corner somewhere. Now you gotta have some money to do this because it is serious money that you get from this. But the money that you get, it has to go to your employees, it has to go to your foster parents, and then also for your operation of your business. You know what I mean? And the key thing to this business is your census. You get paid about how many kids that you have in your program. That's how that works. You have some that don't just have CPS contracts. You have some that have juvenile contracts. You know, you have some that have different other types of contracts, not just CPS.
Which one pays the highest?
It all depends, because now at this point, since they did the treatment foster care homes, that one right there is the one that's paying the most. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not dealing with that, bro.
Yeah, that
All money ain't good money, man. Because I'm going to tell you something. Them cheering off the chain. And that is a recipe for disaster for you to lose your business.
Explain the treatment foster care.
The treatment foster care, one, you only can have like one child that's in the home. And this is a kid that can be with human trafficking, who can actually be a recruiter. They could be recruiting kids. This is a kid that got severe behavioral issues where they cannot be in a home with other kids. These are kids that can be chronic children that run away. I mean, it's set stuff on fire, beat up a dog, all kind of stuff. Yeah, man, look, brother, let me tell you something. And I'm just going to be real about it. I love the kids, but all money ain't good money. And I'm not going to put my business in jeopardy because soon as something don't go right and you know I'm the wrong color, baby, they going to turn around and they going to slam you and you're done. And you can't come back. But they let that other agency, the refuge, they let them come back to get a contract, though. I mean, not a contract, but a license. But you got Shaquisha them who got closed down over something minute. And they can't never get a license. So I'm going to be raising some cane about that, so you probably going to be seeing that on a couple of your news stations pretty soon.
And who decides who gets a license and who don't?
Okay, so who decides for the license is Texas Department of Health and Human Services, RCCI. That is the regulatory portion. That's the one where you have to send in your policy and your procedures. You have to give them a sample of what your application, like your whole program. They have to be able to look at it. And then they'll come out to your facility or they'll come out to your actual business office so they can see how you have everything set up. You even have to have a sample child file of what it's going to look like. And it has to mirror what your policies and your procedures are, and it has to follow under the minimum standard regulations, right? Then after you get approved to get your license, now you got to obtain a contract within 6 months. If you don't, you lose your license. So that's where the CPS portion comes in, because that's where your contract comes from. That's where your monies come from. And you have to follow their portion with the policies, procedures, Youth for Tomorrow, which is called YFT. And they are the ones who determines the level of care of the kid based upon your documentation and incident reports and stuff like that. So you got to have samples of all of that. So it seemed like it's a lot, but it's necessary because of the type of children that you're dealing with. And that's why you got to be very conscientious, even with the type of foster parents that you bring into your agency. Because a lot of these people not right, bro. And you have to have something in place to wing them out. Because if you don't, you're going to be responsible for a child being raped, being abused, and not receiving the services that is allowed to them.
Well, Dr. Candice Matthews, thank you for your service. Thank you for flushing out the uncivilized mutts out there who try to harm my babies. Thank you for all that you do.
Yes, and I appreciate it, my brother. And I got to give a shout out to the Houston Airs because they support your girl. And they know I'm Third Coast made, and I am the hammer of accountability. But at the same time, I'm about what's right. And I'm about zero corruption. I don't have time for that because I'm a flusher. Yeah, you already know this.
Flushing all that waste, man.
And so, like, if those of you that's on here that's watching, if you currently a foster parent or want to become a foster parent or a kinship family, don't let CPS tell you what agency to go to because they don't supposed to do that. You have to pick what agency you want to go to. But since you know Dr. Matthews is on the list, Like Suge Knight say, come to death row. Let me take care of you.
Yeah. And get a new life. You dig what I'm talking about? No more talk.